Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a really crucial deep dive. We're looking at insights from Middle East conflict, Iran, Israel, and global stakes. Our goal here is pretty straightforward. Unpack the complexities, figure out the global stakes in this 2025 conflict, and really get you the core insights you need, quickly.
And this source, well, doesn't pull any punches. It opens right up saying the Middle East is burning again. Stark stuff. And it immediately sets up this central dynamic. Iran and Israel, two enemies, two powers. And the source is clear. This is a conflict that could shake the world.
Exactly, which is why we wanted to do this deep dive. Think us as your fast track to understanding the basics, the essence of what's going on, and what the potential impact might be. We're really just pulling out the most vital bits from the material for you. Because the source tells us in 2025, this is, well, it's way more than just a fight over borders.
Yeah, what's really striking is how the source frames it. It calls it a battle of ideology, power, and revenge, fundamentally. So it's not just about land, it's highlighting this really deep-seated antagonism.
Okay, let's break that down. Ideology first. How does the source describe that difference?
Well, it talks about this profound gap, right, between Iran's revolutionary principles, its whole system of Islamic governance, and its regional goals.
Yeah.
And then Israel's identity as a democratic Jewish state. They're fundamentally opposing visions for how the region should even look.
Right, competing visions. And that ideological clash, I imagine, fuels the power struggle part.
Oh, absolutely. The source really details this relentless contest for regional dominance. You see Iran trying to expand its influence, supporting various groups across the region. Some call it the Shia Crescent. And then Israel is, of course, constantly working to maintain its own security, deter threats. It's like this complex strategic chess game.
A chess game involving intelligence, tech, military strength. The source mentions unconventional means, too.
Yes, exactly. Proxy forces, cyber warfare, things like that. It's not always direct confrontation.
And the third element you mentioned, revenge. That sounds like it points to a lot of history, a cycle of grievances. Does the source get into specifics there?
It does. It makes it really clear that past events, conflicts, assassinations, specific attacks, they're not just history lessons. They actively fuel this tit-for-tat dynamic. It makes the whole conflict feel deeply personal, way beyond just cold geopolitics. It talks about a kind of collective memory of perceived wrongs driving current actions.
Deeply entrenched, then. Okay, so beyond these drivers, the source also mentions the alliances. It says Iran has support from several regional groups. Does it specify who these groups are?
Yeah.
And how they fit into Iran's strategy?
Yeah, it does. It specifically names groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Syria, the Houthis in Yemen, and it explains how these proxies essentially extend Tehran's reach. They create this multi-front challenge, often using asymmetric tactics, things like rocket attacks or messing with shipping lanes, as the source details.
Okay, and on the flip side, Israel gets backing from the United States and Western countries. What kind of support are we talking about, according to the source?
It highlights a very strong relationship. Things like military aid, sharing intelligence, diplomatic support internationally. This backing is, well, pretty vital for Israel's military edge, and it acts as a major deterrent. But
it also draws those global powers deeper into the conflict.
Exactly. It inevitably pulls them further into a very complex regional situation, which, raises the stakes for everyone.
Which brings us right to that point. The global stakes. What does the material say about the ripple effects beyond the Middle East itself? What should you, listening now, really take away about the wider impact?
Well, the source directly links this conflict to global stability. Think about the potential impact on shipping routes, huge for global trade, energy markets too, obviously, and the risk of the conflict spreading, causing wider instability, maybe humanitarian crises. It also touches on how this region can become a sort of proxy battleground for bigger global powers, testing alliances, maybe even reshaping international relations.
So as we wrap this up, looking back at these insights, it's really clear, isn't it? The source hammers home that this isn't just about borders. It's deeply rooted in ideology, power, and revenge. We've seen the alliances, regional groups with Iran, the U.S. and Western nations with Israel. And the source leaves us with this really sobering question, doesn't it? Could this be the beginning of a third world war? Or is there still hope, some light of diplomacy?
It absolutely underscores the gravity of what the source material is presenting. The stakes are incredibly high globally, and there's this profound sense of uncertainty about where it's all headed. It makes understanding this vital right now.
That uncertainty. It leads to one last thought, a really powerful statement from the source itself. The price of peace is often paid by war. That one really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Something to really consider given everything we've just unpacked about this conflict.